That's more like it. That's how I expect the Avs to look in most games this year. Avs win over the Edmonton Oilers 4-1. Now, I know Edmonton isn't really a great team this year, but this game felt surprisingly easy for the Avs. And granted, a big part of that was the Avs top line making a statement less than 30 seconds in. MacKinnon actually fumbles this puck on the breakout initially here, but Landeskog is going to recover it in the neutral zone with some nice positioning to create a 3-on-3 entry into the zone. Lindy does a good job using as much space as he possibly can, forcing two Oil defenders to the middle of the ice before finding MacKinnon on the near side. From there, MacKinnon doesn't really have a great angle here, but he doesn't overthink this. He's just going to fire a shot into the pads, create a nice pad pass that bounces out perfectly, and Rantanen does a great job to beat his man to the rebound and flip a backhand 5-hole. Sometimes you just got to simplify your game, get shots low, get rebounds, get a dirty one, and that's a big goal for the Avs top line after a couple of weak games from them. It also set the tone for this game. The Avs have struggled to score first lately. Getting that one usually gives them a big advantage. One issue for the Avs in this game was they continued to run into penalty trouble. A little over a minute into the period, Matt Calvert takes the Avs' first penalty of the game. Thankfully, the Avs PK looked very solid tonight, killing this one without much trouble. From there, the middle section of the first was a bit slow. The Avs got sloppy again, and you started to see their passing deteriorate a bit, but against a team like Edmonton, you can get away with things like that a bit more. We saw clearly that you cannot get away with that against teams like Nashville and Winnipeg, but the thing with Edmonton was they didn't really forecheck much at all this game, so that sloppiness just wasn't punished. As the period wore on, it eventually became clear that outside of McDavid and Draisaitl, the Avs were looking like the better team pretty much top to bottom. I know I'm not exactly in love with the Avs' depth, especially in the bottom six at times, but they really did get the job done starting late in the first period with maybe one of our best depth players in Carl Soderberg. The Avs clear a puck out of their own zone, creating a 3-on-2 rush led by Soderberg, who's going to hit Tyson Barrie to gain the zone. I didn't love this play by Tyson Barrie at first. He kind of skates himself into a corner, but he does a good job curling back to create a little space for himself. And you're going to see Soderberg, who has fallen back as the fourth man into this play, just post up at the top of the circles. At the same time, Edmonton's defense pulling a classic Avs move here, all 5 players committing too deep into the zone, leaving a ton of space for Soderberg. Barrie with the curl, creating enough room for himself, gives him a perfect one-timer pass, and Soderberg unleashes a big slapper. I can't remember Soderberg scoring on a slap shot ever, really, but hey, if he's putting the puck in the back of the net, I don't care how he does it. And right now, he's one of the Avs' most effective depth scorers, so get him the puck when you can. And from there, as I said, you just felt confident as an Avs fan. Up 2-0, you would hold that lead into the end of the first period, and you were still concerned about McDavid doing McDavid things at this point, but everything else, you felt like the Avs were the better team. And that would continue through the second period as well. The Avs would control play early, eventually drawing a power play 3 minutes into the game. The one area where they didn't improve was that first power play unit. It still has a lot of the same issues that I've talked about lately. Luckily, they got off the ice before the entire power play expired this time, which gave the second unit a chance, and wouldn't you know it, they come through. With just a few seconds left on the power play, the puck comes back out high to Girard, and he's going to take my advice from earlier and just get the puck to Soderberg here in the near circle. Soderberg, feeling it, is going to rip a shot here. It actually does get on net, but Talbot is going to block it back behind the net on the near side. Kerfoot, luckily, is waiting right there. He initially tries for a jam play and then shows some great hands right here. The puck pops up over the blocker. He gets his stick blade up and knocks it in over Talbot. And there's your other big depth scoring forward for the Avs in Kerfoot picking up a point. Not only that, but the second unit understands how to produce on the power play. You gotta get shots to the net, you gotta get it to those down low areas where goals happen. Keep players moving and get off the perimeter. That's what the first unit has to start doing. Otherwise, this second unit needs to be getting more ice time. Oilers, panicking a bit at this point, decide to pull Talbot, and honestly that just makes me more comfortable as an Avs fan. The goalie change does little for the Oilers. The Avs keep coming, and then a bit past the halfway mark, the Avs basically seal the game. This play starts with MacKinnon breaking the puck out on his own. He does fumble the puck a little bit as he heads to the boards, but manages to recover and create enough space for himself to wait for help. First, you have Rantanen coming in across him here, and then you're going to see Landeskog cutting in towards the slot. MacKinnon makes a fantastic pass through the legs of the defender to hit Rantanen, and you're going to just see vintage Barrie here. Jumping up into the play, beating his man into the play as the fourth man, creating enough space. Rantanen basically doesn't even have to look here, which is some great awareness. He just collects the puck and fires it to Barrie in the slot, who rips one into the net. Tyson Barrie on the board with his first goal of the season. It's been a weird year for him. A lot of the time his play has looked pretty ugly, but at the same time his production is through the roof right now. When you start getting him more involved, scoring goals and jumping up into plays, that's when he becomes a real threat though. The secondary assists are nice. I like the points and the breakouts that those imply. But when he's in the play, it's way harder to defend this team. And that was basically it. The rest of the second period, the Avs basically kicked it into cruise control. They did take one penalty, which they managed to kill, so no big deal there, and you're up 4-0 with 20 minutes to play. In the third, the comeback Calgary made against the Avs not too long ago was in the back of your mind a tiny bit, but honestly, it wasn't even that much. I was pretty confident the Avs had this one in the bag. They certainly would put it a little bit too deep into cruise control, basically settling to just dump it out of the zone and not possess the puck enough, but it didn't really matter this time. Eventually, roughly halfway through the third, they would get caught in their own zone for an extremely long time and fail to clear the puck on multiple attempts, and it would end up costing Varley the shutout. So at this point, the Avs have already failed to clear multiple times. In fact, Dries even had an opportunity that they got past the blue line, but he immediately turned over so they couldn't change. At the same time, Edmonton is changing partially, so they get fresh legs on the ice, and then just start skating circles around the tired Avs defenders. From here, the puck eventually comes up high, and you're going to see Dries holding his position here. Ty Ratty's just going to sneak in behind him. Initially, Dries actually does show good recognition to notice Ratty. He just doesn't quite get position and can't tie up his stick, allowing for him to tip this puck past Varley, and Varley has no chance. A little frustrating there. There have been 3 or 4 games this season now where it felt like the Avs goaltender deserved a shutout and they came up short for him. But given that we've lost the last 5 straight, that's not high on your concern list. After that, it did feel like the game might get a little dicey as the Avs took another penalty, and you're thinking if Edmonton scores here, anything is possible, especially with McDavid. But they get a great opportunity, and Varley comes up with a huge save to kill the power play, and from there, that was that. Avs win 4-1. And this is where the Avs are kind of at. You can expect losses to teams like Nashville and teams like Winnipeg because of that sloppiness that the Avs have showed in nearly every game this year. They're just not quite crisp and clean enough to really keep up with those top caliber teams. At the same time, this is what the Avs should have looked like against Calgary, and honestly probably should have looked like against Vancouver as well during this streak. The Avs are good enough offensively to produce. We've clearly seen that against these weaker teams, but they also should be good enough defensively to hold those leads. They managed to shut down McDavid tonight. There's no excuse for not shutting down teams like Vancouver and Calgary, even with the talent that they have. So this does feel like a back on track game for the Avs. The defense didn't fall apart, and that's really all we need out of them. 1 or 2 big saves from Varley, and the offense is gonna get it done for you. That is the end of this game video review. Thank you for watching. I'm Rudo3, and it's nice to have an easy one every once in a while.